Amen. You're live, Jessica.
Oh. Well, welcome to Living Well Wednesday. We are so excited to have you as we are in week 3 of our April message. And we've been focusing on, oh gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. We were just talking about how we're running around crazy a little bit today. And I thank Julie for praying for distractions because it's been that kind of day. Um, But we are in
Be right back.
forward focus, right? We are working on forgiveness and that forward focus. And so, the last couple weeks, we talked about forgiveness pretty extensively in that first week of the month, how we have to be free to receive. And then we talked about how to be forward focused. And this week, Julie's going to kick us off in just a minute. But let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Jessica Banner. I have a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. I've been counseling for about 18 years, did 10 of that in mental health until I transitioned into pastoral care, where I do trauma resolution counseling. Have done some training to work on helping the church to be trauma informed in all areas of the church, and have written a couple books, with one of them being with Beth, our Wellness Wednesday team, wrote a devotional, and also with my other company, where I'm partnered with a couple wonderful ladies with Grace to Care. It's a podcast for caregiving, but we have an affirmation journal that we just wrote. I think we actually just published our Spanish edition this week, so it's been a big
Wow.
week. And so just trucking along, and uh, got hands in lots of pots. How about you, Julie?
I'm just we had the great opportunity to have my grandchildren with me today, and they didn't go down for naps when they were supposed to. So you're going to hear a little bit of crying going on, but we're all real and just have a passion to help. And hopefully that you guys can bear with us. I have been in the wellness industry for about 20 years. And was massage therapist. Just retired last year. It'll be a year in May, which is crazy. Time has flown by that I retired. But the specialty in lymphatics, which then led to understanding the body and how it can actually heal itself. And love, love, love that. Been with the Juice Plus company for years, whole food nutrition, and then just recently with LifeWave, which is a technology that uses photo therapy to help your body activate stem cells. So a lot of healing going on, a lot of nutrition and taking care of the body. And I just love spreading the word.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And today's your big day, right? I tend to steer that ship a little bit more on week 1 and week 2, but we have such a gift in you with all of your experience and your body of knowledge in a couple different areas with nutrition and just the body itself. And so I know that this is sort of our wholeness, wellness week of the month, and I'm going to let you kick it off because you've got some things
Okay.
to share with us today.
I do, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. We're going in. We're going to stay with the theme. We use shift, and each one of those letters stand for something. And this is the F in shift, and it's future focus for in forgiveness. And I was like, what am I going to talk about, right? What am I going to say? And it was downloaded to me that this is so perfect for physical health, for the future, the focus, and to forgive. And so in First Corinthians, as we've seen many a time, 6:19 through 20, honor God with your body. So the future part of this is your vision and goal setting. And this doesn't have to be something major, but it does need to be in the forefront. You do need to have a goal. So think long term and then break it down. So start with how you want to feel, not necessarily how you want to look. And then the look will come, but it's how you want to feel. So that's a shift. A lot of people are like, oh, I want a flat stomach, or I want this cellulite off my legs, or, I don't want flabby arms.
Right.
That type, that's the look. But let's talk about how you feel. One of the major things is more energy.
Mm.
How are you going to get more energy? Another one is less pain and inflammation. And also another one is more mobility.
Mm.
So you have to realize that your skeletal structure is very heavy. Your skeleton is heavy, and you have to have muscles to keep that up, right? So a good example is a friend of mine got very, very sick, lost tons of weight, the muscles atrophied, and she was pulling forward to the point where there was a definite curve. And she's like, why did this happen? Like, she thought it was like it's going to be permanent. And I was like, because you have no muscle to keep your shoulders back,
Mm.
right? So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that can help get you out of pain. When you're talking about hip pain, you're talking about joint pain. The bones are just sitting on, just, they're not supported by muscle. So that's the incentive to build muscle, is to support your skeletal structure so that you can be mobile, so that you can reduce that joint issue, and so that you'll have more energy. Because when you're fatigued with pain, I don't know about you, Jessica, but I can't do much at all. So the other, yeah, I'll go into that in a minute. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Pain is really debilitating. It's interesting because having my degree in rehab and having been a counselor, people don't always think about how pain is actually something. I mean, I've had clients because they deal with chronic pain, and pain doesn't just grade in the body, it can grade on your psyche, your mentality, your emotions. And so it's really we're a whole being and all those things are connected. And so when our body is not well and when we've got pain constantly, it becomes a disruptor, a distraction. It certainly can limit how our quality of life for sure. And for some people with severe chronic pain, it can even sometimes limit lifespan and capacities. And so it plays a huge role in our life, how we manage pain when we have seasons of it. And that's especially true with our physical pain because it's like a domino effect.
It is. It is. So let's go to the next one. Um, it's it's simple, realistic goals. So this don't make excuses for yourself, but set something that's real, like walk 3 times a day. At least you're getting out there. Now you might say, I'm in pain, I can't walk, right? So get stretch bands. Those are very inexpensive. You can get them from Amazon overnight, and that resistance of just pulling the stretch band, or putting a foot in and pushing on that stretch band, is going to build up some muscles so that you can start walking. If you can't walk around your block, then use the stretch bands and walk in your house. And another really good one, and this might sound very simple, but just try to stand up and sit down without using your hands. So you just cross your hands, you stand up, and you sit down. You don't use a chair to push off, right?
Mhm.
So you just stand up and you sit down. Those are very simple things, because it gets very important. If you can't go to the restroom by yourself, that's pretty major. It changes your quality of life. So
Absolutely.
building those muscles, those quad muscles and your glute muscles, in order to be able to stand up and sit down, is huge.
Mm.
So set small goals. And let's see what the other one is. Oh, another one is not only our physical muscles, but what are we feeding and fueling our body with?
Mhm.
And it's so expensive to eat out now. I mean, you go to a drive-through for 2 people and it's $30. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
$15 a piece for a drive-through. That's just insane. So, cook at home 4 nights a week instead of eating out.
Mhm.
And that's all about meal prep. So that's another whole thing, but it's not another whole thing. It
Mhm.
is about focus and setting goals. Another one is just drink more water daily. I would say 80% of the population is dehydrated. So I'm not talking about just, and what's so funny about that is that we got those huge Stanley cups. We got, they could be a weapon. Yeah, they're huge.
I actually
People
drink
don't,
mine though, Julie.
I was going to say, people don't drink it. It's,
I
it's
I
an, it's
actually
this
drink mine.
it's like a new handbag or something, right? They
Mhm.
don't drink
Yeah,
what's in it,
yeah.
or what's in it is high, full of sugar.
Mm,
So water off. I've said this for 20 years. Stop adding stuff to your water. Stop it. Just stop it.
mhm.
And people say, yeah, but what if it's just a cucumber? What if it's just lemon? What if it's just infused? What if it, no, drink water. And then if you want to infuse it with something or have flavors with it or whatever, do that with a meal, because that starts your digestive enzymes going anyway because you're eating, and then it can process the water. But if you want to hydrate yourself, it needs to be just water. So, y'all need to get over yourselves when you say it tastes like soap or whatever else. You got to just drink water. Any comments on that?
I love you, Julie. You just say what you mean.
Just get over it. Got to get over it.
Yeah, as a counselor, I deal a lot with goal setting, and so a lot of times we get in our head, we get in that analysis paralysis when we think about how do I make changes, right? And I love that you talked about simple, realistic goals. I always tell people there's that good old SMART goal. You want it to be specific, right? Like you said, you gave some great examples. I'm going to drink this much water. I'm going to go for a walk this many times a day, which goes to the measurable part. You want to be able to know I had a stop and a start. Humans do well when they feel like they have success, right? And so if I say I'm going to go walk 500 steps twice a day, or obviously we need more than that, but I'm just using an example. That's measurable. Did I do it twice a day? Did I walk 500 steps? You had a starting point and a stopping point, right? It needs to be accessible and accountable. Who you being accountable to about your goals? That's really, really helpful. um,
Mhm.
and what are your resources to do? What I love about some of the things you said is these were low resource ideas, right? If we want to get started, we can just start with what we've got. The resistance bands is a tool, but even if, like Julie said, even if you're just practicing the getting up and down out of a chair, even if, you do some lunges or you, you know, even do some upper body, depending on where you are and what you're dealing with, starting somewhere and choosing one thing, and then it's time consistent. You put a time measurement. I'm going to do this for this much time. Because a lot of times momentum builds momentum. If we can start something and be consistent and see our success, we're more likely to continue it. And so that's just human nature. We're wired that way. Um,
Mhm.
but absolutely, I think you don't have to take it all on at one time. Sometimes we do an overhaul, right? But if this week you choose the water. If that's your focus for the next 3 weeks, because we know that 21-day cycle, I don't want to get ahead of you. So, uh, but
No, yeah.
choose one thing at a time. If meal prep is this week, I'm gonna work on making, if I've eaten out 6 of 7 days, maybe my goal is this week I'm gonna eat home 3 days. Start somewhere that's manageable and build to where you want to go. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it gives you, like you say, those small successes. So then that gives you power
Mhm.
over and control over your life spinning out of control. So
Absolutely.
you're taking positive steps in gaining power with that. So the next one is short term to long term goals. So 30 days, you build consistency. So, just get into that habit. I know y'all have heard this a million times, and this is no new news, but I find over and over that actually people are hesitant, and maybe Jessica, you can talk into this. People are hesitant to even start to to do something because they think they're going to fail at
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
And and there's this block, this, it's like, well, why haven't you started drinking your water? Oh, I'm going to
Mhm.
do that on Monday, or I'll do
Mhm.
that next month, because we're towards and it's like, why not do it now? Can you speak more into that?
I think about
The fear of it.
well, I'll say 2 things. We absolutely get hung up, right? Because we know where we've failed before. A lot of us in the disc personality have a strong C, and we like to do things right, and we like to follow the rules, and, a lot of times when we have that fear that we're not getting it right, it's the fear that actually produces a lot of procrastination, or if we're so detail oriented, we think about all the things that have to be done to accomplish this bigger thing, and it gets so big, we're already so mentally tired, we won't take the first step. And so we have to be willing to do that. We also have to be willing to fail. And I'm saying that because our issues that we're afraid we're going to fail. And so what if we just make it okay that we fail? And I don't mean by stopping doing it. What I mean is, oh my gosh, I set this goal for 30 days, like Julie said, but I messed up on day 17. Okay. It's okay
Right.
to fail. Now, and failure doesn't have to mean I have lost the 16 days prior. It just means I recalibrate and I pick it back up. I don't have to, I think about all the things we do to take care of ourselves have cumulative impact, right?
Ah,
So
thank you. Yes.
if I miss a day, okay, yeah, I messed up. I didn't catch the numbers the way I wanted to. But the impact and the value of what I've actually done for myself has not gone away because I messed it up one day, because I didn't meet that goal that
I
one day.
love you. That
And
is
so
so true. What every little thing you do is cumulative. From mind, body, spirit, every little thing you do, the more you read your Bible, the closer you're going to get to God and more wisdom. The more you drink water, the less dehydrated you will be, and the more mobility you will have. The more you stand up and sit down, if you do that 10 times for 2 days and then do it 15 times for 3 days and so forth, it's cumulative and it matters. All we would not put this in this podcast if these were not cumulative, doable things
Mhm.
that work for all of us.
Right.
And like you say, that 16th day, that 18th day, and you decide, I'm going to sleep in. I'm not going to do a darn thing, and I'm going to sit here and eat a whole thing of ice cream. So what? So what? That doesn't mean you've totally failed. Then just pick up the next day where you
Mhm.
left off. So love
Yeah.
that. You're
Yeah.
perfect.
We get in our heads a lot that it's all or nothing. And then if we have those days, we tend to it's that old saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like
Right.
don't lose the value of something just because you can't see it or it doesn't look like what you think it does. And so it's okay. It's important for us to have permission to fail. And failure doesn't mean I give up and I stop doing it. I don't mean that when I say failure, but it's okay to have micro failures to get to the bigger goal. Because
Yep.
if we can give ourselves permission for that, it's kind of the same thing as it's okay to not be okay. A lot of us don't believe that, but when we can actually settle, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to fail. But failure doesn't mean I have to throw the whole thing away, right?
Right.
Because every single biography you will ever read will talk about how they failed 100 times to get to that final thing that led to success. But it was cumulative, right? You learned what didn't, learned what did. And so don't give yourself the fighting chance and help yourself overcome that mental roadblock. It's okay to fail. Just pick up and keep going.
That's right. So you have your 30 days that build consistency. You have your 3 to 6 months, and then you'll get to see the progress. And then in a year, you've created a lifestyle change. And I've been a big advocate on lifestyle change because when my late husband had brain tumors, no one told us to make any kind of lifestyle changes. And so we did everything the doctors told us to do. The tumors went into remission, but lifestyle didn't change. So we still created an environment that disease could live. And the tumors came back.
Mhm.
And, once we learned that lifestyle changes can help your body heal, then we were able to give him another 8 years.
Mhm.
And I've seen it with my own eyes. I experienced it with my own family and my late husband. Aggressive brain tumors are not going to just go away, but we certainly had quality of life, and that's through lifestyle.
Mhm.
So give yourself that type of goal, that lifestyle makes a difference. All of these little things accumulate, and you see the progress after just a few months, and then
Mhm.
after a year you've made that change.
Absolutely.
So
It's good.
also, oh, go ahead. Did you
Uh,
have anything?
what was her? Dr. Caroline Leaf actually has a ton of stuff about habit, like timing and how to set goals. So if you guys want more information about that, she does some really good things about she talks about the 21-day cycle and how 3 cycles of the 21-day really help solidify. She's a biologist, she's a neurologist. She does a lot of neurobiology, but she has done a lot with our habits and how we build habits and the kinds of things we say to ourselves. Her stuff's really good for all the stuff we're talking about right
And
now. The
who is
stuff we
this?
get.
Say
Doc,
who it is
doc,
again.
Dr. Caroline Leaf. I think
Can you
she's
put
from
it in the chat?
y- yes. She I think she's from South Africa. She lives here in the United States now, but um and she's a believer. And she's done all kinds of research. I've had the privilege of getting to hear her speak in person handful of times, but she's got some great resources if you want to do some more reading about that, get some more support about why it's important, more the neurobiology behind habit building and the timelines and things like that. Yeah, she's got some good stuff out there.
Yeah. So you're not looking for an outcome. You're looking for results. And these results can be seen all along the way. Um, so it's like like we hear in network marketing, when you're networking with
Mhm.
people and you're wanting that certain outcome. And instead of being authentic to yourself and authentic to the person you're talking to, I might be going off on a tangent here, but it kind of bear with me. Um, you're talking as if you're wanting to make a sale. Let's put it
Mhm.
that way.
Right.
And so you're wanting to make a sale to yourself. You're wanting this outcome, but that's not the result.
Mhm.
So there's two different things. It's
Mhm.
it's about creating these habits, creating these processes so that you get the result. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be something that you're feeling the win,
Mhm.
you're feeling the success, the power, the process of
Absolutely.
it. It's not just do it and you're going to have an outcome. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the
So,
same thing I say about counseling, right? Like I always tell my clients, like we have a goal that we're trying to potentially move towards. And it really, same thing. It's really about changing lifestyle, changing beliefs and habits and all those kinds of things. But when you're in the process, you're gaining things all along the way. Right? Because when you invest in this stuff, like we said, it's cumulative. So guess what? You start being able to move a little bit more. You start craving healthier food. Sugar stops tasting quite so good, right? Like anyone who's done it knows, like when you clear out that sugar for a little bit, stuff you start recognizing the difference between those natural sugars and those processed sugars and you're not as attracted to it at the end of the day. So all those patterns and habits matter and the lifestyle is the change, but the goal is really that you can have the highest quality of life for the longest amount of time you can have it.
yeah, that's what it's all about. So in Jeremiah 29:11, God has a future and a hope. And in Proverbs 21:5, diligent plans lead to success. So we got it right there in scripture. So set goals that you can live with, not just goals you can reach.
Mhm.
And I think
That's
that's what we're talking about, that genuine success, that win that you can live with.
mhm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to go on to, let's see where my things are. I might have gotten out of order. Hold on. Here's my little piece of paper. they fell on the floor when they were printing, how you do the thing. So focus. There you go. Focus. So small steps, structure, and exercise. So put workouts and prep time on your calendar. Oh my gosh. So this is focus. So how are you going to do this? You've set the goals. I want to do, certain things, but how do you do it? You got to put it on the calendar. It is just as important as going to a dentist appointment or a chiropractic appointment or a networking event. It's an event.
Mhm.
At the beginning, it's going to feel like an event. It's going to feel like an appointment because it's not normal. It's not comfortable. It's not something you would do on your own. So definitely put it on your calendar. I have Google Calendar. I absolutely love it. Everybody's got different ones, but you can put things in different colors, and you can actually have it remind you ahead of time. So
Mhm.
there's so many great apps that are out there as well. This one's free. So I put everything in my calendar. I'll even put prep day on there. And I have a day that I prep for the week and make sure that things are cut up, they put in the freezer, or they're ready to go so that I don't have to think about it ahead of time. So there's that. And so we're going to talk about exercise. So start simple. And we were just talking about the simple things about just walking, stretching, mobility work, light strength training. Those are very, very simple. However, they're not if you're doing them. So so I did have a personal trainer for about 8 months that was a hardcore weightlifter guy.
Yes.
And I was amazed at how he started me working my fine, small muscles first. And
Mm.
I'm like, this isn't doing anything. I've only got two pounds. This isn't doing anything. So he said, because you're not using the muscle I want you to. And he helped me hone in on that tiny little muscle. And what an eye opener that was. Because as I built those tiny ones, then I could do more with the bigger ones. So it's not about the amount, it's about, just working it's small and going up. So that was pretty cool,
Yeah,
that experience.
I worked with one for about a year and a half, and he was intense in
And
the
see,
best
mine
way.
wasn't.
Loved him. Well, mine was just right for me, but he wasn't intense in the way he worked, but he taught me so much about isolating the right muscle. And I just feel to encourage some of you, maybe you've been here before, you've had habits that have slipped or moved away because life happens. A lot of times when we have transitions and life changes and things like that, we fall out of habits, even that may have been a lifestyle. And one of the things he said to me was, when you build a blueprint, that blueprint's always there. So if you've had a previous blueprint, don't be discouraged. It's actually really easy to help, not easy, but that when that blueprint's there, your body knows how to help itself get back there. You just have to get started. So, just an encouragement, for those of you who maybe have been there before, but life happened and it slips like it does for any of us, when we get focused in another place and our attention and our time gets off rocked, for a season. Sometimes we're in that place where we're having to pick it back up, re-engage, and not to be discouraged because your body will actually help you. You just have to get started.
Absolutely. And you were talking about make it fit with your life. Like this guy fit for you. And you got to make it fit with your life. I had my grandchildren and I was just talking to my daughter-in-law and I was like, so, y'all have a great workout facility at your work, are you guys able to do that? And she said, no, this the way that life is. So this type thing works for her as far as shorter sessions, 10
Mhm.
minutes just 10 minutes, do something. And you can do that several times a day. And it
Mhm.
matters. Like we said, it's all builds on each other.
Mhm.
We're talking about short walks with neighbors. But the shorter sessions and what you have at home works as well.
Mhm.
So there's that for the focus. And focus on movement, not perfection.
Mhm.
Um, yes and no on that. Um, if you're doing something that's going to hurt you in the long run, stop it. What I'm trying to say is just get moving
Mhm.
instead of having it. Oh, I've got to have a trainer, or I got to join a gym. I got to join Crunch. I've got to do this. I got to do that. It doesn't have to be that way either. But just stay focused. Okay, consistency. Um, uh, is better than the exhausting workouts, right? So just stay consistent. Another one I want to throw in here and focus is meal prep. And so you plan ahead to avoid last minute decisions, which are the drive through, as we all know, and you keep it simple and and repeatable. So pick 5 things that you like and make those every week. Okay, so it can say, so John and I have found in retirement that, believe it or not, we don't want to cook. So, and we have the time. So we went to Sam's and they have pre-cooked chicken breasts.
Mhm.
They have like rosemary and stuff on them and they grill them and it's delicious. They also have a humongous rotisserie chicken that we eat on. And then we get the frozen salmon
Mhm.
um, fillets. And so we have salmon and we have that. And then we'll do something with either a piece of steak or ground beef. So we kind of mix all those proteins up. And
Mhm.
the veggies are really simple. I cut up the sweet potatoes, carrots, and parsnips. And I just put them all out on a pan and I roast them. And
Mhm.
then I put them in containers.
Mhm.
How hard is that? I mean, it's not hard. It takes a minute to peel it, cut it, and whatever else. But if you do it just once out of the week, it's done.
Mhm.
So, and then it's so simple just to throw a handful of broccoli into some boiling water. All you're doing is flash cooking it. Doesn't take but a second. Put salt and pepper on it. You're good to go.
Mhm.
So, but I do go ahead and chop up my peppers and cucumbers and things like that, so that all I have to do is just put it on lettuce, and then I have a really quick salad. So, prepping ahead of time makes a big difference. And so we have salmon and salad. We'll have the sweet potatoes and the chicken, and then we will have the roasted vegetables and a piece of steak. Eh, It's pretty easy. So pick 3 to 5 things you really like and just go ahead and have that stuff in your refrigerator. And it's really simple to make. Do you have any that you like?
Yeah, and I definitely have some thoughts too, because I being in that season, the thing about both exercise and food, you know yourself. You know what you love, you know what you hate, you know what you do or don't have the finances or the time in certain capacities, but there's always room to do something inside of all of those parameters, right? Like even with the exercise, you know, if you're better in the morning or at night or middle of the day, right? Like some people will hate working out in the morning but love to work out at night, and so it's okay. You just do what's best for you. And with the food, when I did it, because I was meal prepping when I was pretty intensely involved in that, I actually had about a 3-week menu so that each week I was kind of diversifying the kinds of recipes. I had some key things. And so I had kept on a key rotation where I was that way I could mix up my flavor palette. And I will tell you, some of you are leftovers eaters and some of you aren't. I have met people who are like, I will not reheat food for the life of me. That can't stand it. And
Mhm.
so I love the idea of what you were talking about, like having just a prep day that I've pre-prepped. I've done all the cooking, right? I've done just like a
Mhm.
prep cook. You've cut up all your vegetables, you've done the things because then so much of that cook time that we deal with is the prep work. And so
It
even if you don't have
is.
the time that you've dealt with the prep so that it can be as fresh as possible, if you hate to prep and you've got a few extra cents and you want to buy the already cut up onions and tomatoes in your produce section, do that, like,
Mhm.
um, Some people do better
Yeah, the
by.
squash, they had the squash and onions and
Mhm.
zucchini already cut
Oh,
up, and
yeah.
at least at our Publix or Ingles, they have that. And
See,
sometimes I'll grab that and I'm like, okay, let's just, I put a
yep,
little Italian dressing on it and we stick it out on the grill. I mean,
yep.
it's
I mean,
done. So,
even Kroger and Ingles and Publix, they're starting to partner with some of these more fresh food pre-packaged meals, even in your grocery stores where it's not like a frozen food. It's in typically your meat
mhm.
or your produce section where you've got a
Yep.
meal you can stick in and cook, but it's fresh meats and vegetables and so there's options there and you can find what works for you. I could eat leftovers. I'm a single woman. I would prep. That's why I could eat the same thing for breakfast for a week. So I'd prep it, cook it, and eat the same thing every day for a week. But not everybody can do that. So
Hmm.
you have to be honest with yourself about what works for you and then find those little things you can do. And again, like we said, start somewhere. If you're meal prepping, if you don't do any of it and you've been eating out, all but 1 or 2 days a week, aim for 3 or 4 at home and then gradually add to your goal, you know? Um,
And adding to that goal is also wins. Okay. You, cause you were talking about psyche with things,
mhm,
the money that you save for not eating out, you can put towards something fun for yourself, right? Whether a
mhm.
new pair of shoes or a new purse, or I like those little E Newton bracelets. They're like, I don't know, $30.
Mhm.
And I just add I don't have mine on today, but I add to them. And but give yourself a little win there. For the month I didn't eat out near as much, and I was able to save $150.
Well, like
Wow, what can you do with that?
I found for me, if I would meal prep for Monday through Friday because at that in that season of my life, I was out a lot. I had a lot of social engagements, ministry engagements. So I was out there a lot during the weekends. So a lot of times I would save if I was going to go out, I was going to do it on the weekends, right? When I was
Yep.
doing that kind of thing. So I would meal prep and eat at home 5 days a week. And then for all of my meals, and then when I got to Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I didn't binge. I mean, you don't wanna totally go off the deep end, but there was room to have a little freedom. If I wanted to have that extra thing or if I was going out, I mean, I was still mindful of the kinds of things I was eating when I was out, but I gave myself more of that luxury on the weekend because that worked for me with what I had going on and what I could control, where during the week, I was working 10 to 14 hours a day. So having the meal prep, it just allowed me to grab and eat because that was kind of where I was living at that time, you know? So you can make it work for you.
Sounds like sounds like you're still living in that zone because you are a
I
very busy lady for
mean,
sure.
I have a l I have a little more
And don't forget
control.
shakes.
Mm,
Yeah, don't forget shakes, guys. Those are great for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And you've got a lot of nutrition into one drink, and you can take it to go. The other thing that I suggest for control is to you can make a shake really super easy before you go to that event. Let's say that you've got a church thing, it's a covered dish dinner, you're gonna eat, these Southern ladies can cook like none other. I love their casseroles, but drink a shake before you go so you're not near as hungry and you're able to limit, uh, filling your plate 2 and 3 times. Because sometimes I do that too.
no.
But there's just simple things. But the wins would be, treat yourself to something if you save that money, which would
Yeah,
be great.
absolutely.
So the other main thing that I want to tap into is don't compare yourself with others. You stay in your lane. Do what works for you. Jessica's been saying this throughout this podcast, and your routine doesn't have to look like everybody else's, right? So we're just throwing out things that we've experienced, and we've had other people come to us about, with their issues. But stay in your lane and what works for you. Some people, yeah, I can go on and on about it. And I'll stay in my lane with it. But yeah, do what works for you. So in Hebrews 12:1, it says, run your race. It actually says that in Hebrews 12:1. In Galatians 6:4, it actually says, don't compare. And in Luke 16:10, it says, faithful is small in small things. So consistency is the simple things created, creates lasting change. Consistency, simple changes, simple things that create that lasting change. So now we're going to shift over to forgive, grace and freedom. So forgiveness leads to freedom.
Mm.
You will have off days expected. We were talking about that. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. Don't wait for Monday, next month, or starting over. Reset immediately. And this is what I was talking about before, where that fear comes in. Oh, I'll do it. I'll just wait till Monday. It's Wednesday already, and week's gone. I'll just wait. No, reset, and the very next day, get started again. Don't stop giving yourself excuses to wait. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what are you free from? So you're free from guilt and shame and the all or nothing thinking and the feeling like you've ruined everything. Does that resonate with any of y'all out there? The guilt and the shame. Last night I had a bowl of ice cream. My daughter-in-law was here and we just felt like it. So we just had a bowl of ice cream. There's nothing wrong or bad about that, right? But because I have been consistent with my workouts and with my diet, it was okay
Mm.
to treat myself a little bit. So, or I didn't even think of it as treating myself. Let me rewind that. It was celebrating with her,
Mm.
right? So when you do make, have the opportunity, I say, to have something that is a treat, it's celebrating you, it's celebrating with the other individual. You're celebrating. So why feel guilty or ashamed about it?
Mm. Well, and I'll say this here because there's always the mental health component to that too. Plenty of times when people have had trauma and things like that, some of you may have had that, and that can impact our relationship with food. It can impact our relationship with our body, just even mentally and emotionally. Like I was working with a client last night and even just reminded again, so as I so often am, about how sometimes these experiences we have with other people have taught us not to trust our body, not to trust things about how we make decisions for our body or the relationship we have with our body. And that's a very big thing. Most of us walk out this process of our relationship with our body and what it means to us. And so there may be some things if you're feeling stuck in some of the things that we're talking about today, it may also mean checking in with where's my heart and my head at when I think about approaching these things, because sometimes that's where we're getting hung up or where we may not even, it may be one of those blind spots where we don't look at it like, oh, I'm not trying to make excuses per se, but I don't know why I can't push past that or think past that. And so also just want to offer that encouragement in that space, because a lot of times when things have happened and we've learned certain things or we didn't learn certain things that would have been helpful, because some of you may have grown up in spaces where you didn't actually learn a lot. It feels impossible to believe in the world we live in, pop culture, that people don't know about health, but a lot of us didn't grow up with getting real health education, necessarily. Like we get this stuff in school, but for people who taught us how to live a lifestyle of health, we may not have had that. We may have gotten information dumped on us, but how does that overlay with the life experience we had? And so just being also kind to yourself, that there's room to explore if there feels like there's obstacles in some of these things also, because that guilt, that shame, all those feelings you just talked about, sometimes God will walk us through in our own space, or sometimes with a pastoral a pastor or a pastoral support or coach, counselor, or even a good friend, just having a place to kind of process through some of those things may be helpful because sometimes that's a part of that process of forgiving ourselves. And it's really also healing in a way that we can receive fully the forgiveness we've been given. So,
And that goes back to our shift, right? To shift that mindset on that. Okay. And then it says, or I have down here, what are you free to do? So what are you free from? And that's the guilt and the shame. And
mhm,
then the what are you free to do? And that's to start again right now.
mhm,
Make a
right,
better next choice. Grow without pressure. Take care of your body with peace, not stress, and be consistent without being perfect.
mhm,
So again, we're looking at how do you want to feel
mhm,
as you take care of your body with this focus in the future? You're setting these goals, the focus, how are you going to do it? The freedom, letting go of the bad thoughts. You're freed up to take care of your body in peace, not
mhm,
stress,
mhm.
right? Um,
Yeah, those are good.
I want to be able. Well, I was sitting on the floor with the kids playing, and I had the 8-month old, here playing with stuff, and then I've got the 2-year old over here, and I want to be able to stand up off the floor, holding that 8-month old, right?
Mhm,
I I want I want that quality of life to be able to play with them on the floor and get up and down. That's my motivation. It's not
mhm,
because I've been in the wellness industry for 20 years. It's because I want to get up and down off the floor with the little ones.
right,
I also have some trips planned, and I want to be able to walk the beach.
right.
A lot of people can't walk the beach because they have the knee issues or the hip issues. And, working on those, strengthening those muscles so that you can walk on the beach. It's your goal, it's not mine, but
Mhm.
I'm just trying to shift the way, we think of taking care of ourselves, into quality of life and lifestyle so that you can live it to the fullest. Does that make sense?
Well, yes, it does, and I think one of the things that you're saying, I'm gonna say it a little differently, but it's that
Thank you,
idea
please.
that it's the idea that our goal isn't necessarily about numbers and calculations. Our goal
Yes.
is, what do I want to do in my life and what's gonna help me do it, right? Like, what is going to give me the capacity to engage the things I wanna do that are gonna bring quality of life, right? And so, yes, you can put a goal on, like, I'd like to lose this much weight or do this, but what do I love your example of, like, I wanna be able to get in the floor and off the floor as I'm aging with grandkids. That's a big deal. But a lot of people don't realize a lot of people lose that capacity because they haven't been training the muscles and dealing with the thing. And we don't think about that when we think about that process of, "I gotta lose weight and get in the gym." Like, okay, well, what little things can I be doing that reinforce just the parts, the muscle groups and the tendons that allow me to. I love that you said that about even getting that exercise about getting up and being able to get off the toilet. As someone who's been a caregiver, it's
Mhm.
huge when you lose your capacity to do those kinds of things on your own. And there's a whole onslaught of things that come with that. And so it's more about, what do I wanna do in my life? And what kind of practices am I building to assist me to do them as I'm aging? Because the reality is we all are, whether you're 19 on this call or you're 99 on this call, your body is going to be evolving, it's going to be changing. Some capacities you aren't going to totally be able to control, but some things you will be able to invite practices in your life that may allow you to do more for longer. And so it's
And
more.
God's not finished with us.
Nope.
Just because we turned 60, God is not finished. I mean, look at Beth Copeland, for Pete's sakes. God is not done with us. We need to we need to be the best that we can be. I sound like a commercial, literally, for God's plan. God's got a plan and we are a part of it. And one of the
Absolutely.
things that Beth shared with us before, which I thought was so profound, but it speaks so much into this, is when she prays, she's usually on her knees
Mhm.
praying. And I've even witnessed it.
Oh,
She
me
is
too. Me
amazing.
too.
And so then she said she heard from the Lord, just prostate, just on the head on the floor, she was just submitting to him. And then she got a download that said plank. And she's like, what? She's over 60 as well. And so she said, all right. So she started planking. And yeah, if y'all know what that is, it's holding yourself up, with your,
Mhm.
making a straight line with your body. And so
Mhm.
as she was praying, she planked. And she couldn't do it but a few seconds. And then led up to, you know, 30 seconds. And now it's led up to, I don't know, 2 minutes or whatever she can do. Totally changed her. Her core is stronger. Her physique is totally different. I don't know if y'all have seen Beth lately, but it's totally changed. I mean, just that one thing that she
Mhm.
did. And it wasn't because she was trying to get stronger for something else. She was submitted to God on
Mhm.
that one. God has a plan for all of us, and we need to be the best that we can be so that we can serve him and step into those roles that he wants us to and be physically able to do it.
And God has
So,
personalized solutions. Like, that's an important part of the spiritual side of that. Because I was thinking earlier, when you were talking, one of the reasons it's not a one fits all is because just like when we talk about gifts and talents, we've all been uniquely made and we have gifts and talents. We've been uniquely made in every aspect of who we are. Our genetics are different. We have, there's different parts of the DNA that express itself. It's why some of you like certain foods and you don't like others. It's why you will not catch me running unless I have to save my life. I hate that kind of exercise,
so
but I
too.
love to box. I love weightlifting. I can be on an elliptical forever, but like, you're not going to catch me running. I know people that it is the joy of their life. Right? And I'm like, I'm happy for that for you. That is not me. I need I need to more power in other places of my body when I'm doing it, right? Like I love the movement of things. And so we're all uniquely made in that. And that's why there are some core principles that are good guidelines for how we manage this vessel that God gave us. But it's a unique fit, and God knows your unique fit. And He may have divine strategy to how to step into your story with your background, right? And the things you love and the things you hate. And He can find what's going to work for you. I remember even there was one time when I was starting to learn, like, how do I approach fasting, right? When I hadn't really done a lot of fasting in my spiritual journey. And I was literally a week out from starting my weight training journey, which I knew I needed protein. And I was just in my head and I was like, God, I don't know what to do with this because I was going to do a Daniel's fast. And God said, I was in church and God just said, eat chicken, keep the rest of the diet, but eat chicken. Like, you know, and it
Hmm.
just it launched my life in fasting and spiritual, but it gave me the protein I needed the next week when I started weight training. And like, he has divine solutions where we sometimes get so in our heads about expectations and the things that have been and where we're going. Like, it's just about movement. This vessel was made to move. It was made to move. And when we're not moving, it has impact, right? And so
Right.
just even and we live in a day and age where you have access. Even if you don't always have the finances for all things, we live in the day of age of YouTube and Instagram, where every
Hmm.
person who's ever learned anything about exercise has
Yep.
demonstration of things you can do in your home with what you've got
Yep.
for
Yep.
free.
Polite when we got iced in, everything was closed, all that kind of
Mhm.
thing. I love this Pilates YouTube. I'd go up there for 20 minutes, do my little Pilates and get a little stretched out or whatever, got moving and whatnot. Yeah, YouTube is Amazing. So,
Yep.
yeah, let's bring all this together
Yes,
though. And I
ma'am.
just want to say, we it was future focus forgive and forgiveness. And so your future is your vision, right? Your
Yeah.
focus is your action, and you forgive is your freedom,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So some things I wanted to bring together today. Let's see. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. That's my final words for today. And thank you, Jessica, for giving us that extra piece that is our psyche around all of this. I can give you tips all day long, but God, like you say, God has a unique answer to all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. It's been such a joy to have you. I know you're here, you're part of our team, but you and I don't always cross paths. So it's good to see you. And this
Right.
was good stuff today. I've enjoyed this conversation, and I love the way you wrapped that up. The future vision, focus is the action, and forgiveness is the freedom. Think that's a great way to wrap that up. But Miss Beth gave me some things as we wrap up today. We're so thankful you guys joined us. We want you to tune in next week. Um, I would love to tell you. I'm guessing we may have. I'm not totally sure. I'm sorry. Forgive me about that. But key things for sure. We have coming up this Saturday.
I was
We
going to
have
say
our
Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, she's we have the quarterly networking event that will be at the Cornerstone Co-working. And that's going to be Saturday the 18th from 9:30 to 12:30. You have James Cox and Phyllis Breach coming. I think they're speaking. It'll be an opportunity for you to engage. So definitely want to get registered. I imagine it's on Eventbrite or on the GCBN webpage to get access to get registered for that event. Come join if you aren't a part of the community and you want to check it out and get to know some people to see if this might be the right fit for you. This would be a great type of event to get to know some of the community and see what the experience is like offline, right? And we also have prayer on Monday mornings with Beth, and I believe Renee is a part of that team there on Monday mornings from 9 to 9:30. You can jump on the prayer call. Next Tuesday, we have Renee Hastings with Faith is a Forward is a faith decision. So she'll be there for Transformational Tuesday. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm guessing I don't know specifically who's coming, but we're talking about gut health reset part 3. So forgive me. I
Might be
apologize.
Chi Chi.
Might be Chi Chi. Okay.
It might be Chi Chi.
That
Yeah, Dr.
sounds
Chi
like it's probably right. You'll have to forgive me. I've been like Julie said, running 100 miles an hour. So forgive me because
Chi.
you're a gift to our team. So part 3, gut health reset next Wednesday at noon. And don't forget God Golfing Girls, you guys. It's not too late to sign up. We've got that coming in
August.
August. Yes.
Hmm.
So get registered, ladies. It's a great opportunity. You have wonderful speakers. It's an opportunity. Beth loves on you guys so much. Like she pulls people together where you just feel so loved on, taken care of, while you get the opportunity to hear just some really thought-provoking and just meet you where you are kinds of conversations with some wonderful women and you get to network. You
And
get to
God is in
spend
the room. God is
oh, so
in
much
the
so.
room. I've been several years in a row, and it's one I won't miss.
Mhm.
Makes a huge difference. It's my retreat for the year, and
Mhm.
it's not just about business. It's not just about
Mhm.
networking. It is about women getting together, and in such a way, I got little chill bumps on my arms just talking about it. In such a way that will absolutely grow your relationship with God. So
Absolutely.
it's great.
I
Hmm.
will put it we it's just us, so we can personal plug it all we want to.
Oh
So,
yeah.
this will be my 4th year with God Golfing Girls, and I will tell you so much of where I am in my life today is because I stepped in the room the first time. I had come out of caregiving and doing a lot of things, and I was kind of in a real low spot, and also in a needing to rebuild my life spot when I met Beth. And she said, "You're coming." I was like, "Okay." And, but it opened the door for me to meet some high caliber kingdom believing women who have encouraged me. They have lifted me up. They have seen me. They believed in me. They've partnered with me. It really gave me a community and became a foundational place to take the next steps for me to step up into the things that God was calling me to in the next season. And it just gave me the community, the encouragement, and the space that I really needed to take those steps. This business met through somebody I met at God Golf and Girls that I just started, right? Being here, some of the things that have grown out of this space. My very first book I ever offered came out of Wellness Wednesday, right? So it's such a treat to step into the room because you just don't know who all's there and what all God has for you. So I just really want to encourage you ladies, take the chance and come. If you've been there before, you know. So we
Mhm.
so thank you for coming along the ride with us today. We look forward to seeing you next week, and you guys have a good rest of your week. So see you later.
Thanks, guys.